kind of another big plop of mayonnaise. I don't know if that's an exact measurable term, but we'll go with it. Fish has so many health benefits that it easily earned a spot on my top 10 superfoods. My favorite fish to incorporate is the white albacore tuna. For me, it doesn't have as strong of a fishy taste, which I know is kind of silly because you're eating fish, but I really enjoy it. And it's also very easy to purchase, it's easy to store, and I just really like the flavor. My husband and I love eating tuna on almost a daily basis in our sandwiches, so I'm going to show you how I mix it together with some really delicious herbs and homemade mayonnaise and then store it in my fridge. I'm going to start with 6 cans of tuna, and the reason why I'm using 6 cans is because once this is made up, then they perfectly fit into my 4.5 cup or 36 ounce glass jar. I already opened the cans and then drained off the liquid in the sink, and now I just need to get the tuna into the bowl. And I've tried lots of methods for this, and honestly the easiest way to get it in there is just pulling it out by hand. It's not the most pleasant texture on the fingers, but this gets the job done. And then once I have all the tuna in the bowl, I just start mixing it together with my fingers. I'm just breaking up all the big chunks so it's easier to mix with my mayonnaise and spices and then into my sandwich. Next, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, and you can use any kind of mayonnaise that you like. I like to use my homemade mayonnaise. I use extra light olive oil in this mayonnaise. You can add more mayonnaise if you like your tuna mix to be a little more on the moist side. I prefer to go a little more moderate with the mayonnaise, and then I can always add more to the sandwich if I need later. Now it's time to add the spices. I start with 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then I add 1 full teaspoon of parsley, as well as a full teaspoon of dill. The flavor of the dill spice is my favorite. To mix it together, I first kind of lightly mix just on top with the mayonnaise and see if I can spread those spices around in the mayonnaise before I start mixing it down into the tuna. It seems to get mixed in a little bit better that way. And then I go in and start mixing it down into the tuna. You just want to keep mixing around with your spatula until it's all incorporated. And again, you can decide if you'd like to add a little more mayonnaise as you go along. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add kind of another big plop of mayonnaise. I don't know if that's an exact measurable term, but we'll go with it. Now that that's all mixed together, I'll go ahead and just empty it into my glass bowl. It only takes me about 10 minutes to make up this batch, and then I have tuna that I can use on my sandwiches throughout the week. So it's definitely a time saver. In this glass airtight storage container, I would imagine it would be fine for up to about 2 weeks, but I have never tested it because we usually have it gone in about 10 days at the most. And it tastes good right away, but I think it gets even better once it's sat in the fridge for a couple days, because then those herbs and the mayonnaise and the tuna really meld together. Like I said, I'm a sucker for a good tuna sandwich. So I start with 2 slices of whole wheat bread, and then I take my homemade mayonnaise, and I'll spread some on 1 slice. And since the tuna already has mayonnaise mixed into it, I don't bother spreading mayonnaise on the other slice of bread. Then I also like to add fresh greens to my sandwich. And one of my favorites is alfalfa sprouts. And I actually grow these in a mason jar just on my windowsill. So here's a fresh batch of alfalfa sprouts. And you can save so much money by growing these yourselves. You'll pay, $4 or so for a container at the grocery store, but this is only about a teaspoon of seeds, and I can buy a bag of seeds for maybe $12. They're just fresh and they taste so good. I also like to add some green leafy lettuce leaves. And I like to store my lettuce in these silicone storage bags. I like to have the least amount of plastic as I can in my kitchen, and these bags really help that lettuce stay fresh. It's basically a salad on a sandwich. All right, so a good amount of lettuce. We've got our sprouts. So now we need some cheese. Everything always needs cheese, right? I love a good slice of baby Swiss cheese on my tuna sandwich. Now we can go ahead and close this up. I was very motivated to finish this video because I haven't had lunch yet, and this looks amazing. I'll just cut this in half. There we go. We have a delicious tuna sandwich made from scratch. If you wanted to make this low carb, you could just take a spoonful of tuna and put it right inside of your lettuce leaf. And then you could just roll this up and eat it just like this. Now for the best part, I get to try it. This is so tasty. All those fresh herbs just really give it a lot of flavor and personality. And combined with the sprouts and the lettuce and the cheese, that is a delicious sandwich. Now you can see why I eat this almost every day.